When the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the best soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go! It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis, Jared DuBois, live on a Sunday evening, getting ready to watch Jared emote while his Galaxy play against the Seattle Sounders.
If
Mr.
there was
DuBois.
ever a time where the podcast listener may want to watch the YouTube after the fact, this might be the one, because you're basically experiencing a watch along at the same time as listening to a podcast.
This is true. Now, we hope that you give us some of your attention on the show. I know this is bad timing. I also know that if you are a podcast listener and you only listen to the audio version, you probably already know. Right now, Jared, the people in the future, they know what happened in this game. They're thinking, oh, I either get to watch Jared or listen to Jared suffer, or maybe they know you're going to have some joy. Like the people in the future know they know your future.
I'm not expecting joy out of this game, to be honest with you. And maybe this is the last couple of years of the Galaxy. Just like I don't believe yet. I think this Galaxy team is weaker than it's shown the last 2 weeks. I mean,
well, you know that Chicharito Hernandez is not going to score 2 goals, 3 goals every single. That's just not possible.
But I think Galaxy defense still might give up 2 goals, and so I really worry about Seattle's offense and a lot of changes in this lineup this week.
Maybe we'll talk as that game goes along. No Nicoladero. That's a big thing for Seattle. Not that they've been okay on certain moments.
Rui Diaz, man.
They still have Rui Diaz. They still got some firepower in that. Okay, so that's MLS that's happening right now. There's a bunch of MLS that happened across the weekend. This is what I want from our comment section. Hello, everybody listening right now, watching us right now live. And by the way, that's the best way to do the show, right? Is live via YouTube. Find us, the Best Soccer Show, on YouTube so that you can participate, because I want Oh Baby nominations right now in our chat, because there were
the season so far, or just this week?
No. For this week. Let's keep it to this week.
We missed last week too, so we could bring it last week.
Yes, but people have moved on. We have short attention spans. We're Americans. Like we can't even be bothered to go back a week. That's the old news. I'm talking about this week. And as the show goes along, if we feel the need to bring them up ourselves, we'll certainly do that. I think that there is some national team ramifications, some future national team ramifications for what's happening in Major League Soccer right now. Jared, I'm excited about this group of kids, young players. Can I call them kids? Does that make me sound old?
Are we talking about the Europeans, or are we talking about the MLS?
All of them.
Okay.
But I'm talking about MLS because I worried last year. I worried in 2020 during the pandemic return, coming out of shutting things down and MLS is back and all the games that happened where you had to fly in the same day if you were on the road, and the schedule was compact, and obviously training suffered a lot. Those teams did not train the way they're supposed to during 2020. So what happened is a bunch of these coaches, they looked at their rosters and they were like, well, I got these guys I trust, the guys that are most important to me. My first 11, whatever. Maybe I'm 12 deep, maybe I'm 13 deep, but I need 17 players in order to make this work. I need 17 players. And instead of let's go get Nate Jakwa. I don't even know where Nate Jakwa is. I don't know why that name to my mind.
Jakwa?
Zabi Jakwa. They said, give me the kid. Give me the right-hander. Give me the kid.
Part of the fact that they didn't get a proper transfer window either. I mean, everything was messed up. A lot of teams were probably expecting to dress things in the August window. Teams tightened up the purse strings. Mm-hmm. A lot of things that were probably in plans for teams went right out the window. So like you said, the kids got to play. And so that's what we've been talking about for years. Play your kids.
Play your kids. Now, I was worried that they wouldn't play the kids this year. I guess there were enough kids who made an impression in 2020 that you would presume they would get their shot to kind of continue that, roll that into 2021. Now, some kids got sold. Shout out Brian Reynolds, who turned his little run in Dallas into a big move to Roma. Daryl Dike did the same thing. I didn't know about some of the other kids, but they're playing and they're killing it right now. They're absolutely killing it.
I mean, the first one, and I listen. I know you've got a name for it. I really enjoyed the CNC Soccer Factory.
Okay.
I thought that was a great name as well.
So this is what I want to bring something to the table and to the besties, and I'm going to let people decide how they feel about this. It was discussed. What is the nickname for two players for different teams, but are killing it right now? And I mean, I'm here right now. I can go ahead and give what that would be Caden Clark with the sort of karate kick goal.
Sasha Question somewhere jealous.
Yeah, I think that goal we've seen before. Sasha Question is he's the karate kick guy, and then Cade Cowell. I mean, he just beat a guy foot speed and an excellent finish, right? And these two players are connected by the fact that they both have the word Cade or the name Cade in their name,
which
right?
I didn't realize was like a top 20 baby name 17 years ago. I don't know if it was, but these kids are both, they're both 17 years old. Their parents somehow came up with the Cade thing. That must have been a short little mini renaissance of the name that we didn't know about. 17 years later, we're thinking of names.
Yeah. So this came up on Twitter. Like, are these two guys, maybe they play for the national team in the future together? Who knows? Like, we're hopeful. Caden Clark, Cade Cowell. What do we call them together? And did you have a name, or was it Brian Sharetta who came up with CNC Soccer Factory?
Sharetta came with CNC Soccer Factory. I had a different one. It wasn't that good.
Okay, you want to forget that you had one because it wasn't good.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good enough.
So it took me a little while to come up with something. I called it the
blockade or something like that. It was not good.
Something Cade. Yeah, the Cade Crusaders or something.
No, it was blockade. Yeah, it would be better if they're defenders.
I have an option here. My option, my presentation to the besties, is Cade's Incorporated. Now, some of you, and shout out to Morgan who just got hired. Who just got hired by USL, is getting ready to start her. She's super young. I'm gonna guess this will go right over Morgan's head. But the reason Cade's Incorporated, I think, it works is because sort of Cade's kind of sounds like kids, like in a certain accent, like Cade's. And obviously they are kids, right? So it feels to me like Cade's Incorporated.
But you're skipping over what the heck is Kids Incorporated?
Okay, well, that's the thing that Morgan wouldn't get. Kids Incorporated is, I don't know, a show that what channel was it on? Was it syndicated?
I believe it was Nickelodeon. Maybe it was Disney. I can tell you right now because I'm on the page.
I think it was Disney. I think it was Disney. I think Disney had both that show and Mickey Mouse Club.
It was Disney Channel. Okay, so Disney Channel. Now here's my question for you, and I know you got a drop to play, but real quick, a little mini game for you.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
First, two things. One, how many years do you think Kids Incorporated ran, and from what year to what year is that?
Okay, I actually kind of know this because when I was doing I was grabbing the clip. I think it debuted in '84. And I think it ended in 92.
93.
93.
Okay. Excuse me, 94. 94. I apologize. 94.
Okay. So, yeah, if you don't know Kids Incorporated, know that Jennifer Love Hewitt was on that show as a kid, that Fergie was on that show as a kid. And it was basically like
Fergalicious.
It was about a fake band, right? Yeah. They were a band, right? They were called Kids Incorporated. And then it was like, drama around like other things besides them. They played music, but then it was like, oh, they're kids and they're navigating life.
First Nickelodeon shows that every Nickelodeon show since has copied, basically.
It's the same formula. But anyway, if we're gonna stick with Cade's Incorporated, well, now, if you are younger than, I don't know, 35, you have no cons. That is not in your experience at all.
But if you were if you were over, you couldn't hear that with saying at the end.
Oh yeah. And I think I'm not incorrect in saying that it was sort of the puppy love crush for us. Like it kind of that show was heavy in puppy love crushes, right? We were
for sure. That show, the at the end of that is there's a Venn diagram where it overlaps of Kids Incorporated and Tin Roof Rusted from B-52s, like Love Shack. Like the two things that you have to say if they happen out loud. Tin Roof Rusted.
Okay, yeah, that works. If you have other ideas for the Cades, the two, and by the way, they both sound like they're the country club villain.
Both handsome men too, young men, I should say.
Absolutely.
There's no way you would. If you told me Cade Cowell was 17, I'd be like, I slap you across the face. There's no way that dude is cut for a 17-year-old.
He is cock diesel for a 17-year-old soccer player. Absolutely, and he's got the hair and the whole thing.
And Caden Clark's got that puppy dog. He's team beat skills.
Here's something you may not have known. Did you know that Cade Cowell is Mexican through one set of grandparents and is therefore, according to the internet, and who knows, eligible to play for Mexico?
When has the internet ever been wrong?
Never. Not once in the history of the internet has it ever been wrong. Does it make you worried at all? Do you think L3's like, let's go get the Cali kid and sign him
I think
up?
L3's trying to take every single person that they can from us, whether they're going to play them or not. I think there is a war going to happen over a lot of players. I think Efrain Alvarez was just the beginning of this because let's be honest. If you're Mexico, you've got talent. You've got talent, yeah. But you're seeing what's happening at that next level of talent coming out of MLS, going to Europe, and you've got to be getting a little bit nervous. Now, until the results show that there's something not to worry about,
yeah,
I think Mexico's going to be pretty swaggery still until we start beating them. But if we do, they got to start getting worried about the international experience that's happening with the generation coming up that the U.S. is getting that Mexico isn't.
Well, I think the same thing goes for Mexico that I say for the United States. You don't judge yourself by the other country in the rivalry. You judge yourself by your ability to go win games at the World Cup or compete with better countries in Europe. But yes, you do want to get as much talent as you can. And if you have a player who's burning up Major League Soccer right now, just absolutely killing it for the San Jose Earthquakes, and he's eligible for you, you reach out. Now, here's a fact. I don't look, maybe the kid's got Duolingo on his phone. I'm not going to judge him. I don't know. But the Crispy Churro says that Cade barely speaks Spanish.
You ever hear, I don't know. Did you ever hear Timmy Chandler speak English? That don't matter.
No, I can't recall actually.
Because I don't think that dude does.
And to your point, here's what Jason says: we had a bunch of German guys who barely spoke English. What does it matter? I don't know. I do know that Alex Jermaine Jones speaks some English. Thinking, I don't know.
Just let those green-blooded Mexicans down there try to take our best players out of America. There's no way in hell.
I hadn't thought about Alex Jermaine Jones today, but we'll come back around to that. So
I can't do it without coughing, dude.
Cade Cowell, take a sip of whatever you've got there.
Oh, my White Claw, I will.
Yeah, I mean, goal, an assist, probably could have had another assist.
Cade Cowell didn't even have the best goal in his game.
No, well, and yes, the first name that came up when I asked for nominations for Old Babies was Jackson Ewell, and I was trying to come up with something like, what's the cleanest thing I could think of? And I was thinking like how they hose you down and you have to be completely like germ free in order to go to like a biocontainment lab. And I was like, that's how clean that hit was. He hit that thing so clean it could go into a biocontainment lab.
The only thing that wasn't clean is that he fell as he did it, which is the only thing. It's like, just from a style standpoint, it's like, he just hadn't fallen. I
understand it would have been maybe slightly more impressive, but I actually think like sometimes I'll use another sport here. Sometimes you'll see a baseball player like kind of half swing and like kind of look like he's slipping and screwing up, and he'll still hit a bomb. He'll still hit a home run.
But here's the thing: if you're into the season and you're doing goal of the year nominations, and you got João Pedro, and you've got Jackson Ewell's, equally impressive, but one fell. Who are you going to vote for? Come on, man! Like the style starts to matter all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know, but the technique was so good that I mean, again, he caught it so clean that
full volley.
If it had hit the goalkeeper, would have left a 2-foot hole coming out. Like it just felt like it was gonna just burn somebody.
Now, in terms of style points, though, I know we're not trying to do like an MLS recap, but we're talking about like good goals this weekend. We're talking about old baby goals, like style points. Not the most difficult goal ever, but Rambona from Castellanos. Come on.
Well, yeah, was that? I mean, it's not necessary.
It's just a flex. It's just a flex. Come on. You're telling me that the best soccer show doesn't appreciate an unnecessary flex?
No. We do. We absolutely do. I'm not going to hand out a little baby for that one. I don't think it's. I need something else that's.
No, that's more like that's more like a baby.
No, it's like it's just a show off move, obviously. But I think what obviously for Philly fans, what hurts is that goal never should have happened, right? There's no excuses for that.
What hurts for Philly fans is that they're starting the season like a lot of people thought they would start the season, losing some talent. And it's surprising to me. Surprising me a bit. I thought they would stumble, but I didn't think they'd start this cold.
Okay, so this is what I was thinking, looking at these results. And, it's the third week of the season. Don't come to me with grand proclamations about who's good and who's not. Don't tell me that,
You're not looking at this Galaxy fan telling you that they're going to win the season. I don't have much faith in them right now.
The whole league is upside down. Columbus is in 10th place. Oh, my God. No one had thought that this would happen. Don't. Come back to me in July. Let's talk in July, Jared, because this ain't it. This doesn't – I mean, I understand the results are slightly different than you might expect based on paper talent. But when does that ever matter to Major League Soccer? I think my tweet this weekend was like, welcome to Major League Soccer, where everybody is bad, but sometimes they're also good, and there are bangers every 15 minutes. That's what we got right now.
That's the biggest difference this season so far. It's just like, holy crap, the amount of bangers in 3 weeks. It's amazing, dude. Like, and here's the thing. MLS was already getting more attention, probably from Europe, probably than any other time in its history, because of the talent that's been coming out of it recently and the Americans that have been having success in Europe. Yeah. And then you're seeing these things. And some are being scored by Americans. I mean, week one, I was a little nervous. Okay, not many Americans scoring in the bangers. But now, like, Americans scoring bangers, man. Like, I'm kind of
17-year-old Americans are scoring bangers. Like,
dude, the wallets of Red Bull and the wallets of San Jose, right now, they're and to add to that, in terms of this 25 now, but Rubio Rubin, a guy that we had a lot of promise for the national team when he was playing for Utrecht in the Eredivisie, and slowly, last season was at the San Diego Loyal, after a stint in Mexico, like to come into MLS, 2 goals last night. That's a good start for a guy that really needed it. Americans scoring goals.
You know what I wonder? I'll come back to it. Just a note on Rubio Rubin. As of this summer, he will no longer be an American international or a potential.
Yeah, I heard Guatemala maybe or something like that.
Yes, he is going to join Guatemala this summer, and look, that's fine. He's Mexican and Guatemalan, and obviously born in the United States. That's an opportunity for him. I mean, Guatemala's not making a World Cup, and we know that. But if that means he can play some international soccer, more power to the man. If he's not going to get called up by Greg Berhalter, then that's fine. I was going to say the thing about Rubio Rubin that's interesting, and I think the ship has sailed national team wise for Bobby Wood. But when Bobby Wood shows up, what is he got a spot? Like, is he walking?
That's
into
the thing.
Team?
When I see RSL put up a few goals last night, I was like, "Oh, did Bobby Wood already start playing for them?" I had to start looking. I started looking. I was like, "Oh, Rubio Rubin."
Wait. I'm calling bull on that because you
Danger Zone.
You saw the score line and thought to yourself, "Oh, is Bobby Wood playing?" Bobby Wood, who scored how many goals in the last 3?
RSL, who scored how many goals last season?
I understand, but I would never go, "Oh, Bobby Wood scoring goals." That wouldn't be my first presumption. Like it would be.
I'm thinking so goals got to come from somewhere, and it's Salt Lake. I'm like, they just bought themselves a striker, decent money, and it was over Kansas City, dude. Kansas City's a good team, and I mean, my top goal scoring pick for the year which doesn't look good right now. Alan Pulido getting his first goal.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, when we did our picks at the beginning of the season, I struggle. I was like, man, I kind of like San Jose. I kind of like RSL, but I don't think they're there yet. RSL and San Jose are playing the kids. They're playing the kids. And you're seeing the West right now is kind of scary.
I think
the West is scary.
Both of those teams are going to be roller coasters all year long.
They could be.
Think they're just going to be like this all year long. And look, maybe you're okay with that. RSL has no cash to spend, right? They're locked in because of the ownership situation. Yeah. They can't really do anything. I think they've been linked to a name, but it's going to have to be 100% allocation money that they already had before all this went down. And San Jose is the budget team. That's the Kmart team of Major League Soccer. No offense, San Jose fans. Everything they get is squeezing until they can't get any more juice. I mean, they're still relying on Chris Wondolowski, who would have played in this game except he had a red card last week. So
after 2 weeks, Kansas City, Portland, Minnesota, all out of the playoffs positions. It's super early. I don't mean to make much out of that, but would you have bet on that?
I mean, I don't know what I would have bet on 3 weeks into the year, but
because we did predictions and we didn't have that.
No. But I don't think I would. If you had said, "What are your predictions 3 weeks into the season?" I don't think I would have said, "Oh, I think so and so is going to be in first place." And again, who knows?
What I'm surprised is that the number one story, the top two stories in MLS so far through 2 weeks, almost 3 now, to me are surprising. One, Chicharito's story. That is amazingly surprising.
And we're about to see. They haven't kicked off yet, but we're about to see.
And two, the player kids is still going on this year. That's the other thing that's surprising. Those are the two storylines that I think are the biggest two storylines out of the MLS in the first couple weeks, and both of those are surprising to me. I did not think that was going to be the case.
Okay, we got a phone call here. This is going to be about Daryl Dike in Orlando. James in Tucson. What's up, man?
More sexy.
Hey, what's up, guys? So basically, I've been on the Orlando should sell DK train for a while now, because I just think that, having been someone who followed the Red Bulls and have seen what's happened when you don't sell someone, it creates a bad vibe in the locker room, I think, because you have the idea with Long, he has these offers to England, and then he sticks around. And I just think it's a great opportunity for DK. You got some decent offers for some big clubs. And I mean, Orlando looked good yesterday without him. So, I mean, what do you guys think?
I'm surprised.
You're surprised by what? What are you surprised by?
How good Orlando's looking without Daryl Dike. And
can
also,
I say something? Hold on. James is still there. They played FC Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They played FC Cincinnati.
I know.
They did.
I
but
know.
I think
said sorry to Nicky Soup and Sausage on the call.
That's right. Nick didn't see any of it.
He had a paper bag over his head the whole time.
I'll say Orlando, I'm surprised. It's not just who they're playing. Maybe it is just, but that is a big part of it. But they're playing a good style of ball. Oscar Perez playing a good style of ball. Surprised that they're having good result, besides with Chris Miller not looking that great through 2 games. Losing Pato in game 1.
Yeah.
No DK. Nani's stepping up, dude. Nani's definitely stepping up. He's looking really good. Fantastic. Another golazo. I mean, that's an old baby right there from the Deacon shoot.
I don't have old baby in Portuguese, but I'll give him one of these. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. That's an old baby.
I couldn't tell you what it is either. But I'm surprised at what Orlando's doing. I don't think they're comfortable enough that they still wouldn't like to have DK if they could. But
so that's the calculation, right? And so we know that they have agreed to let Barnsley have him through the end of the promotion playoffs, or however long that is. I mean, there's a semifinal and a final, so we'll see.
The latest being May 31st or something.
Yeah,
right?
that was. But the agreement was always he came back definitely by on May 31st, but they had the option to recall him this month. They've agreed, and by the way, it was a free loan up till this point. They were getting nothing from Barnsley for it, so now they're going to ask for some change. Now, I don't know what that is. Like, how do you judge the market on a month of Daryl Dike? But they are trying to go for the Premier League, and that would be huge for them. They've been in the Premier League exactly 1 season in their history, so. Yeah. I understand why they want to keep him, and obviously, hopefully,
I said it on the midweek show. I understand why Orlando wants money, because there's risk involved when you play Daryl Dike more games. Sure. They want to make sure that their $20 million check doesn't go down the toilet here in these couple weeks.
I find it impossible to believe that Orlando's going to be like, $15 million? Get the out of here with that. We don't want $15 million for Daryl Dike, a guy we didn't spend any money to develop.
They ain't accepting it right now. They're going to hear all those offers first.
But at the same time, what I think is interesting, and James, you are an Orlando fan, or you're not an Orlando fan? You're just on the train of selling him.
Yeah, no, I'm a neutral, so I understand how like an Orlando fan might be like.
Okay, so look, we got Freddie in the chat. We got some. We know some Orlando fans. We know some Orlando people. What I think is interesting is this psychology has developed, and I think it's very MLS, Jared, because where else in the world would a club who's got a chance to do something in their season, make the playoffs, win an MLS Cup? I mean, Orlando was good last year. They made the playoffs. They could put something together.
MLS is back. They were one of the finalists or semifinalists of MLS is back.
They were a finalist against Portland. Yeah. They built something, and with DK off his great year, off of what he just did at Barnsley, you would think, oh man, we could maybe go win this thing. What other fan base on the planet is going to be like, yeah, no, sell him. It's better. It's better if you sell him. Orlando fans are like on board with selling him, when the financial reward in MLS is a lot less tangible than it is for any other club in the world.
Is that a byproduct of American support? Like, is there any place in the world that appreciates capitalism as much as Americans
think it's capitalism.
do?
I think it's like we like him that much. It's like you want to see your friend succeed.
Oh, you
it's
want to
like
see the
that.
best for him. Okay.
Yeah, I think they want the best for him. And I mean, if I was
it's the best for the supporters too. If you're thinking about it truly, Daryl Dike, he could just be having a good hot run. You know, like you can come back and why not get a for sure $20 million? That's the real thing. Why I think supporters are behind this.
Okay,
get a for sure $20 million.
I guess my thing is, and James, you can chime
Sell
in
high.
here, even though you're not an Orlando fan. My thing is, how do you can't guarantee that the Orlando's going to do the right thing with the money. I mean, you have to trust that the management's going to do the right thing. The club is actually on the block. They might be sold. Can you be sure that the new owners are going to take that $20 million and put it back in the club, or do you think they're going to just pocket that because, oh, look, a little bonus for signing up, for buying the club? And again, in Major League Soccer, you in the season that you're in, they do have one DP slot open, so they could conceivably use it on that slot. And that is kind of the saving grace here. But that's about it. You can spend it on infrastructure and a DP, the cost of a DP, like a transfer fee or whatever. But you can't go buy 3 more players or sign 3 more players in the window to make your team better. And they have issues. You're going to replace him with what? Tesho Akindele? I mean, he scored. I get it, but
you're going to replace him with whoever you want to spend $20 million on a DP slot. That's who you replace him with.
Yeah, but do you think that's the difference-making thing for Orlando? Does that make you an MLS Cup caliber team if you go and use it?
I think it potentially does more than Daryl Dike does.
But Daryl Dike can play and score in Major League Soccer because you saw it last year. He's a known quantity in the league.
I know that he's had
anybody else you sign up.
I know he's had a good year.
Okay.
There's other players that have had good years. Chad Barrett had a good year.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, James.
I know from experience because I'm a Red Bulls fan, and I've seen it with, and maybe it's just my short-term bias being a Red Bulls fan, but I saw it with Kaku. I saw it with Aaron Long. When you get, and with those guys, Kaku was just a Mexican club, and Aaron Long, it was West Ham. DK's apparently getting these offers from Big Six clubs. I mean, I think that he's going to feel a little bit of resentment if he ends up coming back to Orlando, or maybe not resentment, but I think it's really hard when you're over there and you're having success, and then to come back to MLS. And to your point, Jason, I think it's an American sports thing. And I've been following MLS for a decade, and I sort of thought this way 3-4 years ago. You're not used to your best player leaving in the middle of the season. It doesn't happen in NFL. It doesn't happen in NBA. If MLS is going to be a selling league.
Yeah, I think it's an American soccer thing.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to showcase.
I think it's an American soccer thing in that we know our place, right? Like if you're a knowledgeable soccer fan, MLS is not the height of the game. You know that if a player has the ability, they're supposed to be allowed to go chase that opportunity. And again, while you still have some weird feelings about Aaron Long, not so much about Kaku, who obviously just left.
Yeah.
But I went for a pack of cigarettes and didn't come back. That's Kaku.
You had a $6 million. You had a $6 million offer, and they balked, and then they got nothing.
Right. Yeah, like I said,
story, but
he's the dad who went for a pack of cigarettes.
I don't know if we want to keep our man on here for this, question, but I have. But I think it's along the same lines as this. Is that when you start thinking about Caden Clark, a guy that's destined for Europe, right? I don't think anyone's going to say otherwise. As a Red Bull fan, do you want him to keep going through the pipeline and not getting a return on investment on these players? Like this is going to be your third player now that has been potential for a large sale and bring money into the organization. You're going to let him go through the pipeline instead.
By the way, I said the $20 million thing about Orlando. James, I am going to let you go. I do appreciate it. I said the $20 million thing about DK. They don't keep all $20 million. I think it's still 60% or 66% or whatever for a player who's not homegrown. If he's homegrown, you get every dollar that you generate from the transfer. And that's the case for Caden Clark. But I'm just saying, no, I know. Look, if it's a big enough fee, but that explains some of Orlando's thinking, by the way. Because if they're like, $10 million, well, we only get 5 of that or 6 of that or whatever it is after all the fees are paid. Well, then we don't think that that's justifying letting him walk when we have a chance to do something in 2021. So obviously they're thinking we need to bring that number up so that our the money we get, the portion we get is big enough.
What do you think that MLS fans and or New York Red Bulls fans should want for Caden Clark? Like, is he New York Red Bulls? If you're
if I'm a Red Bulls fan, I want them to hold on to every. I know. Look, I feel bad for Aaron Long. I definitely do. I mean, if he wanted to go and they didn't let him go, that sucks. Because I'm a neutral, I can think that way. But if I'm a Red Bull fan, screw it. I won a championship. We don't have one yet.
Let me flip this a different way. If you're a U18 American starlet, Cade Cowell or Caden Clark, here's the pick your poison for you right now.
Do I have the hair? Do I get to have the hair or not?
Yeah.
I was always the guy whose hair grew up and not down, so I had a problem with that.
Who is in a better position? Let's say that they have equal success, equal value on the transfer market. Which of those two players is in better position for their career moving to Europe?
Right this second?
Yeah, like playing for San Jose or playing for Rebel. You think Caden Clark has a better chance of getting a good move to Europe than Cade Cowell does for San Jose? San Jose is going to sell him to whatever best offer they can get.
So
they're not going to pump him through Austria.
First of all, there's already word that Caden Clark's leaving Red Bull for Red Bull Leipzig, RB Leipzig, not Red Bull Leipzig, RB Leipzig in 2022. I'm not saying it's definitely done. I don't think it's been confirmed by any party. But the thought is that it was actually Leipzig who identified Caden Clark coming out of the Barcelona Academy in Arizona, and instead of signing him directly, they just had him go through the Red Bull system.
As men's national team fans, you and I now, let's put ourselves into this. As men's national team fans, should we be happy because it's a proven track. It's a proven track through Tyler Adams, now Brendan Aronson. It works. Jesse Marsh, it works, right?
Mm-hmm. Or we got to talk about Jesse Marsh, don't we?
Yeah, or should we want him to go to an Everton or something like that and take the big swing? Like, as U.S. national team fans, should we be satisfied with a Red Bull Leipzig move for Caden Clark?
Well, no, wait a second. Did you say big swing as if Everton is a bigger move than Leipzig?
Premier League's not a bigger move than Austria?
It's it's a higher profile league, but Everton's
that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying it's a better position for him to be in for time play, but in terms of, do we want guys to take the big swing? And is Red Bull holding us back?
I'm still taking issue with the fact. So Leipzig is in second place in the Bundesliga.
Oh my God! I just picked a team. Oh my God! Their DK was talking about Everton. It's in my head. I'm sorry. Pick a different one if you want.
No. Look, if we can get, I want our players to go to the biggest club possible. So, but here's the thing
is Red Bull holding us back?
No. Well, here's the thing about Red Bull. It's there, and there's a pathway, and it's lit up. It's like the lights on the runway when the plane's coming in. Every other pathway is dark, and you got to figure out, I got a flashlight out.
You know that's not true because you have Gio Reyna going from New York to Dortmund. Like, there's other paths guys can take. Gio Reyna,
hold on. First of all, by the way, shout out to the dude on Twitter who said that every time he sees Gio do something now, that he thinks he thinks about that clip. Gio. I know what you're saying. I do. I get the general picture, but I do want to point out Gio went because of who his dad is. Like, that helped him. That greased the pathway for him because his dad is who he was, and obviously he was, in the NYCFC academy. Like, I think that MLS is getting to the point where it doesn't really matter anymore. So to me, that your point is that if Cade Cowell is killing it in San Jose, somebody's going to pay attention. Somebody's going to buy him. But at the same time, RB Leipzig already has proven to develop an American player, right? Tyler Adams is doing great at Leipzig.
Brendan Aronson's doing great at Salzburg. Yeah.
And Brendan Aronson is killing it. Scored a goal, won a cup this weekend. And his girlfriend's flying out. I follow him on Instagram. He was very excited about his girl flying over there. Nice. That is proven, and that pathway is there, and I sort of trust that system to give players the opportunity. Okay. I can't be sure. So, for example, not that we thought that Matt Miazga was going to be a world beater, but when Matt Miazga got sold to Chelsea, what did we say? Oh,
he's going to get loaned out and go into. We're worried about if he's ever going to play.
Has Matt Miazga ever played a second of soccer for Chelsea? A second?
Yeah, I totally get it, but at the same time, we could be asking a player to give up 2 seasons of their youngest prime time in Austria instead of getting him pushed to someplace bigger. And I totally agree. You're not wrong when you say I battle with this because the Red Bull pipeline has done well for us. It is probably going to continue to do well, it looks like. But is it going to hold us back from the big swings at the fences? I don't know. I mean, these guys are going to waste a couple of years. MLS is already a bit of a waste of a time for guys' career, right?
How about this is another point in that pathway's favor, okay?
I'm just saying there's an extra stepping stone that might not have to be there.
No, I understand.
Go 2 steps.
I understand that, but again, this is a Champions League club that has ambition of winning the league. Whether they can take down Bayern is a different question, but they want to, and they're willing to put their money down to make it happen. But the other thing that's true in Germany is that if you go and do really, really well at some other club, what happens usually, Jared? Like if you're a star in the Bundesliga and you don't play at Bayern,
you get the Holland treatment.
You get the opportunity to go to Bayern Munich, right? Yeah. Upamecano snaked from Leipzig by Bayern Munich. They took the coach is the coach, but Nagelsmann, he saw the lights and he couldn't not walk that direction and go coach Bayern Munich, despite the fact that Leipzig is a good team and really does have a shot to maybe take Bayern down. And they made a semifinal of the Champions League last year, right? And they're going to be back in it this year and have a realistic shot. We hope. With the
German Cup too this year.
With the man, they're in the final of the German Cup against Dortmund. So we got American versus American action. But that guy, Jesse Marsch, officially announced
respect
as
for the
RB Leipzig's next as RB Leipzig's. Which one did I have?
Zu viel Respekt für die Gegner.
Respect for the Gegner, whatever he said there. Taking his talents to Leipzig. He's going to be that's a step up. Whatever you want to talk about the pathway for players, there's no doubt that Jesse Marsch is just blazing new territory, blazing new trails, right?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic move. It's it's probably one of the worst kept secrets in soccer this last week in American soccer, but I think it's a fantastic move for him. And this, once again, we're talking about the pipeline. The pipeline is working for coaches. It's working for some people talking about New York Red Bulls coach Struder. How do you say?
Gerhard
Struber. Some people talking about him potentially going through that as well.
I wish it was actually the bad. I wish his name was the bad guy, like the bad guy from Die Hard. What is his name? Hans Gruber. Hans Gruber. It was Gruber. It'd be better.
No, I'm so stoked for Jesse Marsch. I mean, I think a lot of Americans are living through him, and it's validation to a guy that was willing to take a assistant coach job in the second Bundesliga because he's willing to bet on himself, and now he's at the top stage. I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy that there's an American that's breaking through the ceiling. Obviously, Bob Bradley was the first step in that as well. A lot of people don't remember that. A lot of people don't want to give it credit. They want to forget about it and move on. Tough situation for him. But all that means in the last 3 years, we've had 2 American coaches in 2 of the top leagues in the world. And there's 3 right now because you have another one in Germany. Well, another American. So
Pellegrino Matarazzo. You forget about him. Yeah,
there's steps and touchstones happening right now, both at the player level and at the coaching level for Americans.
I think this is an interesting question. So again, Pellegrino Matarazzo is in Germany. He's at Stuttgart. He's actually being talked about for a bigger job than Stuttgart, which is a credit to him. His story, for anybody who doesn't know, he came out of Jersey, son of immigrants. He played at Columbia, I believe. He played at Columbia University. He then decided, I want to be a pro soccer player. Now, he wasn't good enough to get scouted by big leagues or go. He ended up in Germany playing in the 4th division. He just a grinder. He just wanted to do it. So he established himself in Germany, played for 10 years or so. Then he retires and immediately gets hired on as a coach at the youth level. I think, I don't remember which club, maybe Hoffenheim, but he gets a youth job. He's obviously respected. He has a mathematics degree from Columbia. He's obviously an incredibly smart dude. So he gets the respect of the German football establishment, gets a chance to make his way as a coach, gets on the staff with Nagelsmann at Hoffenheim as an assistant, which obviously Nagelsmann was a star in the making. Everybody knew it. Then he gets the job at Stuttgart. He is American, 100% American. I'm not doubting his Americanness, but what he is not is sort of bred by the American soccer system outside of his high school experience in Jersey, right? So with Jesse Marsch, it feels different, though, because he's an MLS
I understand
lifer.
that, but I don't want to debate Americanism. I think that's kind of a dangerous
but what I'm saying is the question I have, the reason I'm setting this up, the question I have is whether or not either one of them, and by the way, in 2021-22, 11% of the Bundesliga will be coached by Americans. I just want to throw that out there. It's a great stat. 11% of the Bundesliga coached by Americans. Do you think that they are going to open doors for other American coaches, whether it's the Matarazzo way or the Marsch way?
The conversation I would have for you is, who's the door open for? Who's the guy? When you look down the American coaching pecking order, who's the guy? Does Bob Bradley go for another stint?
No, there ain't one. There just not. There isn't.
You're telling me Greg Vanny's not in that conversation?
No, I don't think. Okay, I'll tell you who I thought of, because I did talk about this on my radio show. Jared, do you know I have a radio show? Have I told you that I have a radio show?
What's the call numbers?
Well, like my WXYZ, like that? Is that what you want?
Yeah. Like, what's the call letters like?
We don't. I wish I worked on a radio station that was like
WNBC.
WNBC. No, it's not. It's not. What's the big one you guys have?
That should be
there?
the drop every time you say that you have a radio show. That we play WNBC. Oh, Nick loves it. Nick loves it.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm not calling you pig vomit, by the way.
No, please. Well, that was no. I would be the Stern guy because I'm the one on the radio show. Pig Vomit was the program director. Whatever.
Don't drop names.
What what I was gonna say is I went through the possibilities, and I think right now at this moment it's very thin on the ground. It's the only guys I can think of that might do it haven't really even established themselves as head coaches yet. So, for example, Josh Wolf. If Josh Wolf kills it in Austin, right? He has national team assistant experience under Greg Berhalter. He's getting his shot in Austin. They're doing four. Let's
play a little game with this. Let's play a little game with this. I'm gonna say a name. You're gonna tell me. Right. I'll say two names. You tell me which one's closer to getting a European job. We'll keep going until we figure out who's. You
want to do this pick your poison style, not game show buzzer ding style? Is that what you want to do?
Pick your poison style.
Okay, pick your poison style. It's one drop for the entirety of this discussion. Go ahead.
All right, closer to a European coaching job, Jim Curtin or Peter Vermees?
Jim Curtin.
Okay. Closer to a European job, Jim Curtin or Ben Olsen?
Jim Curtin.
Just making sure. Jim Curtin or Tab Ramos?
Jim Curtin.
Jim Curtin or Oscar Pareja?
Interesting. I still think it's Jim Curtin. I don't think Oscar's Colombian, right?
I'm sorry. I'm probably lumping him in there. I probably shouldn't, but I don't think as an MLS coach. I claim him as ours.
No. He is ours. But I think I'm just trying to think of like if his background would give him a chance somewhere, and I'm not sure.
Okay, Jim Curtin or Caleb Porter.
All right, that's an interesting one. And what I can't account for is ambition, right? So Jim Curtin is this very humble dude, has done an incredible job with the Philadelphia Union, but he's been a company guy the whole way, right? He was an assistant. He worked his way.
That might hold him back. That might be holding him back.
So this is what I'm saying. I don't know about his ambition. I don't know if he really wants to. And it's interesting. They named a successor.
What guy doesn't want to?
Hold on. They named a successor very, very quickly, but for about a split second, there was this thought, hey, maybe Jim Curtin could be up for that Red Bull Salzburg job that Jesse Marsh is leaving behind. Now, obviously, it's not happening, but there was that thought. Caleb Porter, on the other hand, is definitely an ambitious, go-getting type of dude. Like, edgy as hell, just ripped apart the CCL refs this week. Like, he obviously is a passionate guy. I could see him wanting it. I just don't know. I think based on rep, I think Jim Curtin. I think he's got the connections in a way that Porter doesn't.
All right.
I think
Jim Curtin or Brian Schmetzer?
Jim Curtin. Yeah.
Jim Curtin, and here's who gets some tough ones. Jim Curtin or Greg Berhalter?
Wow. I mean, I think right now it's probably Jim Curtin, but you'd have to ask me after the World Cup.
Do you club success versus international somewhat kind of having success?
If the United States
it's a higher profile job.
If the United States goes to the World Cup in 2022, if they get out of the group, and obviously draw matters, but if they get out of the group and they win a game at the World Cup, a knockout round game at the World Cup, then they get a fifth game, Greg Berhalter may have a shot at getting a job somewhere in Europe. I just
you're taking Curtin though?
I'm taking Curtin right now.
All right, last one. Curtin or Vanny?
Man, I still want to say Curtin. I
wow. I got it right with the very first person I chose. Wow. When I gave a first, I think I just picked two guys.
Let me flip it around for you. Greg Vanny obviously has a track record in Major League Soccer.
Where you would have lost me, and that I agreed with you all the point. I would have taken Porter over. And then I would have taken Vanny over Porter because I think Vanny he's played overseas. You see what he's doing. He's not. Where's Vanny looking for talent right now? He's not looking South America. He's looking at France. So I think that's his springboard. He played in France. I think he's setting himself up to make a move to France after the Galaxy job.
I could see that. Now, I think an underrated part of this, and why I don't necessarily rate Porter as having a good chance, is I think you have to be willing to work within a system. And as an American, it's especially important that they think you are malleable, that they can mold you into what they want.
That's what the Red Bull pipeline does, for sure.
I don't think Caleb Porter is going to go to Europe and do what they want. And
Fair.
I think his attitude is a problem for him, which, I mean, it's good for the crew. It helps them win.
For his players.
Yeah. No, I think Caleb Porter's energy is great. I would want
what
him
I
as
hear
my
you
coach.
saying is that he's too American.
It's, you know what, that maybe in terms of his attitude and his sort of like, I'm the shit. Yes.
I'm going to give you one last one for fun. I'm going to give you one last one for fun.
Okay.
If there was a job, 2-year job, open in Europe, are we talking Jim Curtin or Bruce Arena? Bruce has never done it. Do you think he would, as a part of him that wants to do it, just to check it off his box? You don't think he wants to do it? He's done.
No, I think Bruce Arena
MLS is a retirement league to you. That's what you're saying.
I think Bruce Arena wants to go to a team facility where everybody avoids eye contact with him, and I think he wants his coffee the way he wants his coffee, and I think he wants to go home and watch his television in his house slippers and have his grandkids bouncing around his feet. That's what Bruce Arena wants. Yeah. He don't want that.
It's a young man's game. It's a young man's game. If you're American overseas, I think it's a young man's game. I think even for Bob Bradley, who's not oldish, like he could go back there and still do things. I mean, look how old Stan Allardyce is. I mean, these guys could coach until they're almost like in wheelchairs.
Did you say Stan Allardyce?
Sam
Allardyce. I thought you said Stan. I was like, is that his brother that I don't know about? Stan Allardyce. Oh my God. We may have some spoilers in the chats here, and I think I'm behind a little bit. Things might be happening over in the Galaxy Seattle game.
Imagine who scored it.
Was it the guy who mentioned at the top of the show as dangerous for the Seattle Sounders?
Yeah.
You know what? I have an idea. Do not leave Raul Ruiz free at the penalty spot with a cross coming into the box. I think you just probably shouldn't do that.
Maybe don't play 2 new guys in your back line after last week. Maybe that's another thing you could do.
Yeah. Well, look, early returns on Van, you have to feel okay just because
Fisher's is not good.
Chicharito is getting chances, even if he can't keep up the pace.
Yeah,
he's getting chances, which is better than last year because even with your Argentinian boy who you didn't bring back, why am I blanking on his name? Christian Pavon. You weren't getting chances for Chicharito Hernandez when he was on the field. Now you do. You got chances. He's feeling himself. Do people know about the bet? Did we mention the bet on the main show yet? Or
I think we have. Yeah,
we have.
We can reiterate it just in case we didn't, though. But yes, there is a curtain bet going on. It was made on the bonus show, but I believe we just on the main show. And that is if between myself and Nikki Soup and Sausage.
Let's bring in Nicholas Soup and Salad / Sausage, who, by the way, let me bring him in
the
officially.
Sausage King of Chicago.
Let's first applaud Nicholas Soup and Sausage for hitting another milestone. 50 pounds. My man hit 50 pouns. That is big news. That is incredible.
Thank you.
That's like half a Latif blessing.
that is. I was gonna give you a danger zone for that. That's better. Interpropes or the J Rodius. Nicholas Soup and Sausage.
I started already scoping out the sushi places. So
they have a bet. And look, I'm not so sure. As much as Nick is a hometown Cincinnati root for every team in town guy, and he's got a podcast. Everybody go listen to Cincinnati Soccer Talk. I think he's very honest about his team and where they are. I think he's a paper bag over the head kind of guy at this point. And yet he did step up and make a bet behind his team for the 2021 MLS season with Jared DuBois. And Jared outlined I'm sure we did, but outline the betting.
It's a straight points bet. So between LA Galaxy and Cincinnati, who was going to have more points at the end of the season? Now, granted, this was before the season, before we knew Chicharito was going to start the season with 5 goals in 2 games. But so it seemed like a pretty equal bet at the time. It may not be. They're losing right now. Who knows what's going to happen? So, but if Galaxy finished with more points, Nick has to eat sushi for the very first time.
Never had
on
sushi.
Camera.
Yeah,
on camera. Yeah. And if they and also Jason has to shave down to a mustache.
Well, I was going to save that for the end of this, but yes, this is the thing that is now, and I don't think it has because Thiago is Thiago and he's taking up a lot of our attention and our mental energy, and we're not sleeping and all of that. I don't think it has sunk in yet with my wife. And I have not given her an update. I have not been like, oh, yeah, the Galaxy are pretty good right now, and Cincy is terrible. Because I don't want her to be like...
right now. They're down 2-0.
I'm not going to I'm not going to touch you until your beard comes back in. We haven't. Did we establish?
You can't be old Dad FC again.
I can be old Dad FC forever if I want. I mean, that's. There is a question of whether or not I'm going to go the Jared DuBois route. I think Nick also had it done.
Yes.
I haven't quite committed to that yet. Having my cutting off the
getting pulled out of the game.
I didn't know I was watching FCC tonight,
dude. Come on, guy. And so if Cincinnati finishes with more points, I have to eat Skyline chili, which Nick is going to overnight me or something. Like somehow you can overnight this bastard food.
No, you can get it in cans. The chili, you can get it in a can.
So who just scored for
Freddie Lundberg?
It looks like who is that? What am I not understanding who this is? Oh, Brad Smith is male powdered baldness bald.
Dude, that's Freddie Lundberg, isn't it? Doesn't he look just like Freddie Lundberg?
Dude, why
I didn't see him in underwear. I don't know.
Why keep the thing? Why not just that's like Aaron Robin stuff happening, right?
Yeah, just go to the scalp. Go to the Bradley way.
I do not understand. I know I'm taking shots here, okay? I'm sure Cincinnati is a fantastic place. I cannot wait to go to
TQL Stadium, yes.
TQL Stadium. I'm still waiting on my official invite from the Cincinnati front office, who they told me they were going to be sending something. What? I haven't seen anything. I don't have no letters. I got no emails, nothing. But I'm sure it's a wonderful place. I don't understand how you could have like a restaurant and say, this is good food to eat in our restaurant, and then it also be available in a can. That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's rough. That's rough.
Like, how is that something I want to eat?
You can't find sushi in a can. I'm telling you that right now.
No.
The chicken of the sea is a different kind of tuna than you'll get with sushi.
Yeah. So yes, Jared is going to have to eat Skyline chili. If
it's looking like it right now, if they keep playing defense like they're playing against Seattle.
I mean, you give it up 2 in 25 minutes. Yeah. I did hear, and Nick, you can tell me before we let you go here, do you sign off on the fact that Cincinnati fans are sending wooden spoons to the front office? Is that why
would that be?
The wooden spoon is what you get for finishing last.
Oh, okay.
And the fans are sending wooden spoons to Cincinnati's front office to be like, what the hell are you guys doing?
I think they're sending to both the front office and the training facility.
They should put a price tag of $15 million on the spoon.
Now, if by some chance FC Cincinnati turns it around and does something, I hope they're collecting the spoons and they will turn it into some sort of like a Game of Thrones, like a throne of spoons. That would be amazing. A throne of spoons.
Yap Stoms that coaches from it.
Here's my prediction. Cool. By the way, on the 2021 FC Cincinnati season, I find it very unlikely at this point that Yap Stam finishes the year, and I don't mean that necessarily because he gets fired. Although it could happen. They could decide to fire another coach midseason.
Yeah.
Don't you get? I mean, this is Yap Stam. He's got a reputation to uphold. Do you think he's really going to sit around and watch this happen in front of him, a team that he's supposedly in charge of? Don't you think he's going to walk away, say, I don't know, June, July, and be like, screw it, I'm out?
I don't need this stuff. I'm going to go hang out in Lake Como.
Why come to the United States and be in Cincinnati if you can be back home and
I'll tell you why. Same reason Patrick Vieira does. They all think it's going to be easy. Same reason Thierry Henry did.
No, I'm saying he could quit.
It's easy.
He's learning it's not. I'm saying that Yap Stam might quit is what I'm saying.
I agree with that.
Okay. I also, it's starting to trend that way, right? Although, yeah, it's tough. It really is.
It's only a couple games.
A lot of it's not right. A lot of it's not entirely his fault either. You can only cook with the groceries that you've been bought.
So. That's exactly what I mean.
He's got $15 million in groceries.
He does have $15 million
up top, but of course the last 2 games, Lucho Acosta.
Yeah, but it's the fees on the Instacart that get you. That's the problem.
That's what I hear.
The fees get you. No, what I was going to say is, if it's not his fault, that's all the more reason for him to walk away and be like, "Screw you guys, I'm going home because you didn't get this right." And I'm sure he had a hand in Brenner.
Speaking of coaches that, sorry, go ahead. Give it.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
I was like, speaking of coaches that are going to go away, what are the odds that Pirlo makes it through the night?
I
think Weston McKinney's got a new coach, dude.
You think that's happening right now? I mean, I know the word is literally if you don't make the Champions League. I mean, they didn't say it that way. It was an ultimatum, but it was like, yes, Andrea Pirlo will be our manager.
Do you think Weston McKinney is part of the rebuild in Juventus, or like they start all over even further than him?
No, I think he's part of the rebuild. Yeah. By the way, I still think there's a chance that Pirlo makes it. Why wouldn't he make it? What's the thought process? I mean,
they lost today and they didn't look good doing it.
Yeah, well, okay. I actually did not
didn't
see
look
that
good either.
result.
McKinney hasn't looked good last two games, to be honest.
They beat Udinese today. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry. I apologize. I left at halftime. They were down. They looked like they were going to lose. I apologize.
Oh, well, so this is what happens. This is Juve, right? Cristiano Ronaldo, penalty in the 83rd minute and an 89th minute goal, and they won the game. And now they are tied for third place.
I stopped a little bit early. I got so sick of watching McKinney be horrible. He missed a header like from six yards out.
Why bring up and I need a drop for Weston. I know we were talking about his call sign. I think it needs to be the beginning of that song from all of the Clint Eastwood movies, the spaghetti westerns, because you said that. Yeah, we need that.
Spaghetti Western, yeah, that works pretty well. Texas Kid in Italy, I like that.
That's terrible. Why am I doing that? People aren't going to want to listen to that.
I want to be happy with West McKinney. There's everything's going so good in Europe for Americans right now. Pulisic's on form. Gio Reyna's getting back on form. Brendan Aaronson's like lights out right now, and like in Austria. Yeah. I just want Weston McKinney. I want everything hitting at once, and just like, man,
it's never going to be that way. Like
I know it doesn't mean I can't want it.
Oh no, I know, but we shouldn't be overly we shouldn't get depressed if Weston McKinney has a bad day for Juventus, and
a couple,
especially when Pulisic was our problem child for like a month and a half, and now the guy's on top of the world because he scores the goal that might help Chelsea make a Champions League final, which would be a brilliant. But I hope everybody's listening to From the Stands, which I think dropped on Friday this week.
Yeah,
I talked to Jared about Pulisic. I talked to Chris Whittingham from Chelsea Mic'd Up about Pulisic, and about the fact that Chris Whittingham uses his oven timer as his alarm clock, which is just bonkers.
Wait, your oven's close enough to where you sleep that can happen?
He has a studio apartment in Miami. Is what
I've had one of those in San
that.
Diego. I could have done that as well. I've had that life then. Okay.
So he does the math. He's like, I need to get up at 7:30. How many hours and minutes do I need to put on my stove timer?
Wait, okay, I'm gonna do one. I'm going back to being like inconsolable about this for one moment.
Okay.
The dude talked to you on a phone, right?
He was actually in the studio. He's a producer for Le Batard's show. So he was actually in the studio just connected through a computer. Why? Why does that matter?
Your phone has an alarm on it.
That's what I asked him. And he was like, I had a problem one time where my phone didn't wake me up. So now I have
the oven? All reliable.
He said it's super loud and he worries about his neighbors hearing it. And that's how loud that is.
That's interesting. Huh.
So anyway, go listen to From the Stands, which is our midweek show. A little bit different vibe. Jared's always on it, but he's always in the middle of some mundane life
parent
event.
action.
Yeah, it's mundane. I'm not saying it's like not important. I'm saying it's mundane. We don't ever catch you walking out of the shower after, some business. Oh, that wasn't for everybody, was it?
That was pre-show, dude.
Yeah, this is why you need to get on the Patreon. There are only select few people who get access to the pre-show, and Jared was spilling some tea about the relations with the wife.
We don't have to recap it.
I want people to be enticed to sign up for the Patreon. That's what I want.
Let's just say that the soccer players aren't the only ones that can play 2 games in one day.
Oh my God! See, that's exactly what we don't need. That's
dog.
That's exactly the inappropriate kind of behavior that'll get us in trouble on this show. All right, so we didn't do MLS recaps or anything. Is there anything else that stands out for you? Atlanta's not looking good. Joseph doesn't look like himself, which you can understand.
I'm still not buying high on New England yet. They're getting the job done. I mean, Carlos Gil, I'm 100% heel. Sorry, heel. I'm totally behind him. I'm still not sold on the rest of that team. I think.
I mean, like, are
Austin?
you?
I'm surprised with the way Austin's starting out. I mean, they beat Minnesota, dude. But it's like
they did.
Was Minnesota really only as good as Kevin Molino? Is that what we're finding out right now?
Did Minnesota just regress that much? And by the way, shout out to RSL. So they beat Minnesota last week, and obviously had the they beat Minnesota. Yeah, last week, and then the David Ochoa situation, punting the ball into the stands in Minnesota.
Love it.
Which, okay, everybody got hackles raised. I didn't understand what the big deal was. Everybody's Adrian Heath calling him like not that good. It's like, dude, shut up.
That's funny.
He also, so they won this weekend, right? They won yesterday, and he punted the ball into the stands, and they turned it into like, and because of our win, every home win. will be giving a ball to the fans after the game, which is just like, yes, that's how you turn.
So what happens? What happens when he kicks it into the away supporter section?
Well, that's what he did in Minnesota. That's what caused this whole thing.
When he does it, RSL saying it's okay in their stadium for him to do it, but what if he does it into the away side instead of the home side?
Again, you're saying again. Because
RSL is trying to make it an okay thing for him to do it, right?
Well, they're just making fun of the fact that Minnesota got all worked up that he did it in Minnesota. So, yeah, I mean, I hope he does it on the away again after they win. I hope so.
I agree. I'm on the Alexi Lawless bandwagon on this one. We need more villains in MLS. Zlatan's gone. We need someone else.
I don't know that that's the Alexi Lawless bandwagon so much. I don't think you should let him name that bandwagon. Like, that shouldn't be his bandwagon. I think we're all asking for storylines and drama.
We need Detroit Pistons in our league.
I think certain national radio hosts have been saying that for a very long time. Do you know any that might be saying things like that?
National. I only know an international one. That's out in space. Satellites.
Well, the show doesn't broadcast to space. It broadcasts
goes through space.
But that doesn't make it international. I don't understand your logic here.
You're telling me that SiriusXM is only in the United States?
No, they have Canada, but we're not. My channel's not available.
I'm trying to give you more clout, dude. You're cosmic.
I wish, man. I wish I was.
Aliens are picking up your broadcast. They're gonna wonder when they want to know what soccer is. They're gonna learn it from you.
Yeah. So we've had a couple of moments of pain. We're gonna be signing off here shortly. I hope you get to halftime without this getting worse for your boys. Let me bring back our friend Nicholas Soup and Salad one more time. And
the Sausage King of Chicago.
Ask him to bring us some reviews. Leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called. And here's the new hook. Here's the new thing. Like, we got all these drops. And I told you that somebody on Twitter was like, oh, I hear the G-Funk drop in my head whenever I see Gio Reyna do something good. By the way, does he get an "Oh Baby" for that goal?
Oh yeah, for the first one, yeah, for sure.
The first one. The second one was just a tap in, which but yeah, the first one he gets an "Oh Baby." The listener who on Twitter who said, I hear the G-Funk. We will accept nominations for drops, whatever you got. It could be for a player, it could be for a situation, it could just be something you think is funny that might work for the show, something dynamic wise, me and Jared. Leave it in your review on Apple Podcasts and we'll make sure it gets in the show. But Nikki Soup and Salad is here to give us the latest reviews. So what you got there?
Before I read this review, Jared, are you really intrigued in what Greg Vanny is saying to the Fox guys right now during this
I can't
interview? I can't imagine to be very good.
How is this? I still understand how this is a thing of the 21st century that we're going to have these guys on.
Oh, can I say one more thing? I know this is my ADD brain. Okay, I'm sorry. I want to say one more thing before we get to these reviews. So I'm watching Greg Vanny do this conversation, and he's got a white, a white dress shirt and a blazer. I don't know. He's
going collar.
It's okay. It's fine, right? It's nothing spectacular. It's fine. We did our preseason best dressed rankings, and we haven't really updated our thoughts. I think we need to let that bake a little bit.
Yeah.
And we discussed how the call up is doing best dressed coaches in Major League Soccer. I think Max Bretos is claiming territory here. Everybody's talking about this. I found a tweet. I was looking for something else. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
I found a tweet. Oh, it was a Jesse Marsh thing. I found a tweet from 2012 where you and I were discussing the best dressed MLS coaches. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I don't think it's news to anyone that we're like the taste makers and the trend makers, and we're ahead of the curve on all this stuff.
I just wanted to get that out there.
There's just new kids to the game, dude. There's new kids to the game that don't realize that we've got these kind of chops.
I'm just pointing everyone in the direction of the tree that we peed on back in 2012. That's all I'm doing. Okay, that's all I'm doing.
Tree we peed on.
All right, Mr. Soup and
Salad. Araujo. God dang it. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. So this one is from Eric from Seattle. He says the best with 8 exclamation points following it. He says it's great.
Number.
Yeah. It's great to have y'all back under the original branding and discussion of American soccer. Can always be found on this show. Is always a must listen. Nick is a great addition to the show. Thank you so much for that one, Eric.
He read that because his name got mentioned.
It's the last two. I'm just reading the last two that were left, gentlemen.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
This next one is from I don't know how to say. I'm going to say A Vogues. There we go.
Okay.
It's in the name. This show recaps all things American soccer and soccer culture, whether it's comparing current players to boy band members rating hair, or making heavy 90s references to anything and everything soccer related. The BSS gang brings humor and a sense of fun to soccer coverage. Check this out if you're into American soccer or if you like a laugh.
I think the boy band thing was from the last episode, from the stands, right? Because we declared Christian Pulisic a what? A Timber. He's not a Timberlake.
JC Chazé.
He's a JC Chazé.
I mean, he might get the Timberlake one day, but he's JC Chazé right now.
Well, but we're not saying based on talent. It's not like he doesn't have the talent to be a Timberlake. It's just that he doesn't have the. He hasn't
the gravitas of a Timberlake.
Yeah, he's not acting like the league.
I told you,
right?
I think Landon Donovan was closer to a Timberlake than
certainly
Pulisic.
In the national team. He was a Timberlake. So Clint Dempsey was the bad boy, right? So he was
Clint Dempsey. I mean, you're saying.
He was the AJ, right? Is that?
Oof. Yeah, he could be an AJ, but I think he got more talent than AJ. I think we're doing him a little dirty calling him an AJ, you know. But
well, I mean,
you know what I think Pulisic is? He's not a Dempsey is a JC Chazé. You know who Pulisic really is? He's a Lance Bass. Just nice. Just nice.
Oh, man, wow. That's I feel like that's kind of rough.
Why?
I feel like that's kind of rough.
Lance Bass is a fantastic dude.
I think we gotta get some Cincinnati flavor in here with some Nick Lachey.
No,
we can't do 98 degrees. Are we
recognizing 98 degrees?
No, what are you gonna tell? You want me to give someone O-Town credit now too? Where do we stop this, Nick?
I know that
You're
I dated us.
Mind.
I know that I dated us.
Yeah.
I know I dated us with that, but I saw I think it was on TikTok or something. It was like the then and now, basically, like in recreating the pose and it was 98 degrees, like their heyday, and then them now. And I was like, I just want to shoot myself. It's done for. Look at those guys. That's terrible.
What are we doing? He had some fun for a while.
Oh man,
he's still doing all right.
I'm sure he is. For it.
But they just looked so old, and I was just saddened.
Nick was just on their Wikipedia page yesterday. He'll tell us all about it.
Hey, I don't know. This week, one of my Facebook memories was from a live show we did at their bar in Cincinnati, and I got to meet Nick. So that was pretty cool.
Does he do like ads for Skyline or something? I feel like that would be a Nick Lachey.
He does some local ads. He does.
I did not realize he was local to Cincinnati area.
Oh,
you're just now realizing that's why I brought them up. That was kind of
Did you own 98 Degrees
after him?
CDs? Did you own their music on compact disc?
I never had a CD, but I'll admit I downloaded their music on Napster.
Oh wow! Now we're dating us. Now
they were worth free to you.
Now we just all should get our walkers out and make our way back to our orthopedic beds or whatever those things are.
Folks will never understand the Napster era.
Packing up my house for our move, gentlemen, and I came across 2 burned CDs.
Oh, so here's the thing.
In the bonus show, we may have to talk about what those are.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up and get to the bonus show. I was literally just thinking about how the CD experience in the 90s was not just like you would go to somebody's house, like Friday night, Saturday night, nothing to do. I'm not talking about house party. I'm just like hanging out, right? Somebody would have a blacklight poster, those kids. You would go in these rooms and you would bust out the CD case, right? The big ones. I'm talking about like
the pages.
But like 4 CDs per page,
yeah,
front and back, and like those suckers weighed, like they were heavy, right? They weren't just like.
Oh, yeah. I still have one of those.
It's crazy. And you would go through, but you wouldn't just go through to say like, oh, okay, that's interesting. You got the live album, okay. You'd be like, which one of these can I borrow to rip and put on CD? Like that was the move. Like you were basically like trading.
I'm so old that I downloaded DeMarcus Beasley and Claudio Reyna MPEGs off Napster of their goals for Rangers and PSV Eindhoven.
Wow, that's how
allegiance. That's how much allegiance I had to the American soccer game back in the day.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. So iTunes ratings and reviews, patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. We're going to go make a bonus episode right now. I'm thinking about doing some videos. I got to drop some stuff on my jersey collection. Just added this one. Shout out to Sean Francis, SF, for hooking me up with the new Asbury Park. I didn't ask.
Only one
He
of us was
volunteered.
featured on his blog back in the day, and it's not the guy wearing a shirt right now.
This is true. Yeah, shout out to Hayden from Hollywood. All right. Anything else before we get out of here, boys, or is that it? Are we done?
Yeah, I got 45 minutes more of pain, so let's do this.
Okay, we'll go do that. We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Danger Zone! Eddie, what have you done for me lately?
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Oh, it's incredible! What are we doing?
Damn, dog, that's in a boat.
Oh, baby! You feel respect for the Gegner. You got to coordinate. Oh, it's incredible! Michael freaking Arasco Fiscal!